I have had some pretty amazing stories over the last 10 years of using natural solutions for myself and my son. I have a handicapped son who is, very long story, but by the time he was 17, he had been in the ICU more than 25 times. And so I was seeking solutions and found that when we kind of look to nature, right, to find the chemistry that's available from the plants around us, that there was an incredible change in my family, myself. And so now I do this. I teach people about natural solutions and essential oils, and it's an amazing experience. So I just express my gratitude to all of you for the work that you do for the county. Having been a county employee for 17 years, I do know, what it's like to be in your midst, and I can't imagine how it is now in a quarantine situation with a pandemic, trying to serve the fragile populations that we take care of. And so I say thank you. I also say thank you very much to this mental hygiene initiative, right? And hopefully you will walk away here with some really good information. And so during our workshop today, we're going to explore some daily habits that you can do to sharpen your focus, right? I'll share some very simple routines and some of my favorite essential oils that will improve focus, give you a little bit more energy, some clarity, right? But first, I want to kind of give you the basics. We need to have a brief understanding or overview of exactly what is an essential oil and what are their health benefits. So an essential oil is distilled from plants, parts of the plants, the leaves, the flowers, the berries, the roots, the stems. As in the case of citrus fruits, we get them from the rind of the fruit. They're naturally occurring, volatile, aromatic compounds. Basically, nature's chemistry. And the simplest way for me to explain it is that essential oils are a message-carrying molecule, right? They are chemistry, right? They're part of our neurotransmitters, and they have a message for your body, for the systems and the cells of your body. The essential oil is produced by a plant as part of its defensive recovery mechanisms and as part of its communication. So it can help attract pollinators and sometimes repel pests. It helps the plant protect it from environmental threats, recover from microbial or fungal attacks, and those three things, right? Protection, improved communication, and healing or repairing damage is what they can do for us when we use them. So how do we use them? So, well, the first way, the first thing you notice about an essential oil is that it has an aroma, right? It has a smell. And we breathe in an essential oil. We use it in the diffuser. You can put it on your hands and breathe it in. It opens your airways. Essential oils, you'll learn during our time today, the chemistry shifts mindset and mood. And this is one of the keys when we're talking about brain chemistry, right? We need to have good brain chemistry in order to have mental acuity and clarity and focus. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. The second way is topically. It's well researched. It's probably the most consistent way that people have used essential oils through the years. We apply it in whatever area we're looking to interact, right? So if I have a headache, I'm going to apply, my peppermint and lavender on my head. If I have pain, I'm going to apply it right on that pain. Maybe you have a bug bite or a burn and you need to calm that skin, and so you're going to put the oil directly on that area. You can also take essential oils internally. Not all essential oils are created equal, and so you want to make sure that if you're going to take an essential oil internally, that it has a supplement facts label. If you notice here, that means that it is approved by the FDA. It's recommended for internal use. When we use them, no matter which way we use them, all of them are going internal. Like whether we breathe it in, right? We're breathing it into our nose, which brings it into our brain. We are putting it on our skin, and we know that when it's on you, it's in you. And so even if you're not taking it internally, it is going inside your body. And so it's really important to make sure that it is a quality oil, therapeutic grade. Now, how fast is an essential oil? Well, within 22 seconds of breathing it, they find the chemistry in the brain. Within 2 minutes, they can find the chemistry in the blood. And within 20 minutes, it's in every single cell of your body. And so it's like having, because it's organic, it's the same substance as any other, your organic molecules. It has an all-access security pass, can get anywhere, right? And so I have a clip here. On the left, you'll see a blood sample, right? You'll notice that the cells are clumped together, they're misshapen, and this is actually a clip from a video, and so they're sluggish, they're not moving around. And then, so that was a blood sample taken from a gentleman. They put an essential oil on the bottom of his feet, and then 30 seconds later, they took another blood sample. This is the difference on the right. You can see the cells are now no longer bothered by the free radicals that clump them and misshape them. And so now you have cellular function that improves instantaneously, 30 seconds later. And so it's dramatic what essential oil that's therapeutic can do. It is immediate, right? And so, when we talk about some of the solutions today to sharpen focus, right, we're going to learn, right, that, just like when you have a pencil or a knife or an axe that you want to sharpen, we need tools to help sharpen our mental focus. And so I'm going to first start with some of the ways that we can do this, just, simple tools. And the first one is proper nourishment, right? Eating the right foods helps our energy. It fuels our body with what it needs to get through the day, right? When I don't know, like I can remember many days at the county not having a good lunch, kind of searching the break room for whatever was available, just, because I was starving. When we nourish our body, it helps the brain continually function and perform tasks, right? Your brain is always doing something, even when you're sleeping. As we learned yesterday in our sleep class, your brain is always doing something. So the second simple thing you could do is just stay very well hydrated. When we're dehydrated, you do have a decreased function in the brain. Another big one is not sleeping well, right? Lack of sleep can influence our ability to concentrate the next day and make it really difficult to make decisions or, to even get clarity. Sometimes you're so foggy brain, you're like, oh my God, I can't even think clearly. Right? While we're sleeping, it provides our brain time to recharge, and it goes through these vital processes that influence our memory and the storage of information, right? It's kind of like a big computer system, and it's like rebooting. Like you have to file all the day's work, and you have to throw out the trash, right? What was the junk email I got, and what are the ones that were important that I want to save and file away in my DNA? Right? So sleeping is when we do that, right? The next thing we can do to sharpen focus is just to limit distractions, right? Like how often, when we're trying to focus on creating a letter, or maybe there's an important thing that needs to get done and you just really, you don't have the energy to do it, right? We're going to pick the simple things, right? Rather than the big projects. And so I like to kind of create an integrity list in the morning. Okay, if I was the highest version of myself today, what's the one thing I will get done, right? Because too often when something feels big or overwhelming, we kind of put it off. And especially if you didn't sleep very well, or if you're kind of foggy brained, it makes that job that you need to do that much more daunting. And so I really love to make sure that, okay, I'm going to clear some space in my day. I'm going to turn off my phone. I'm not going to answer. Whatever it is can wait that half hour, hour. And so, you know, try to limit the distractions if you're having issues with focus. And then, of course, there's therapeutic grade essential oils, right? And so this is a solution that literally is right under your nose. We can maximize the power of aroma, right? Aroma is aromatic chemistry, nature's chemistry. And when you breathe it in, even when you just breathe it in, you don't have to put it on your skin, you don't have to take it internally. When you breathe it in, the first place it hits is the olfactory bulb, which is right behind the nose, and is the entrance to the limbic brain. Your limbic brain is responsible for memory, mood, emotion. It is the place in your brain, not the logical brain, but the kind of like, I like to give an example of like an iceberg, right? So the logical brain is the part of the iceberg that's above the water, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on subconsciously, right? And so in the limbic brain, there's no words, there's only feelings, right? Did anyone ever, you know, ask you a question, well, why didn't you do that? And I'm like, I don't know, just didn't feel right. Like that's your limbic brain making a decision for you. And so we have an incredible power. Like there's so much science here that we can directly impact our brain using aromatic chemistry. And I'll propose to you that we're wired for this, that we were meant to have immediate shift and change in brain function, which changes behavior, right? A thought and an emotion is what controls our behavior, right? And so essential oils will go straight to that amygdala and begin reformatting previous interpretations, and you know how we perceive a situation is part of our mental focus and our clarity. So are you with me so far? How do you unmute? Okay, I can unmute. Did you have a question? Let me see. P. Laplar. Let me just see if I can find you in here. P. Laplar. I can unmute you. Did you have a question?
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay, so with that, I'm going to share some of my favorite essential oils that you can use to help with focus. So the first one is peppermint. Now, I wish we were in the room together, because if I opened a bottle of peppermint, that mint, it just is like, I want you to try to remember like a very strong mint flavor of some food or dessert, right? If you took a leaf of peppermint and you kind of rubbed it, the oil kind of is on the leaf, so you're breaking those little sacs that contain the oil. And when we open this up, I'm actually going to do it for you. Sorry you can't be here to enjoy this, because this is really awesome. And so I just breathe it in, and like immediately I feel like vapor that opens up the airways. Now, one of the reasons we lack focus is that we don't have enough oxygen, right? All of our brain cells need oxygen to, remember the blood sample that we showed, right? When we oxygenate that and get rid of the free radicals, the cell kind of pops up and now it functions better. And so now we're talking about brain cells that are going to function better. And so when we increase oxygen to the brain or to any cell, we're going to have improved function. Because peppermint has this vapor and kind of, it immediately increases alertness. It is really good actually to help improve circulation. And so you need to get, you know, sometimes when we exercise, right, that gets the blood flowing and that helps our clarity. Well, this is the same thing, right? When we improve oxygen and we're going to help move the blood through our body, right? Peppermint's a vasodilator, so it's going to get your blood moving. So it's just one of my favorite oils. I also love, they have a lot of scientific studies about how it helps with memory recall. So maybe your focus issue is like, I know I read something about that, and I just, like, what was it? What was it? Right? You can't get the memory out of the brain. there are students that use peppermint in the diffuser or on their hands while they're studying. And it creates a smell memory of the material that they're studying. And then when they go to take the exam, they put the peppermint on and immediately the information comes back. Right? Do you have the smell memory? Right? Something that brings back a memory. Like for me, like it was like cherry pipe tobacco on my grandfather's jacket that always made me think of him. So every time I smell that, I still think of him, even though he's been, you know, gone since I was a child. Right? So peppermint is just an amazing oil to do lots of things. And it's super, it's like one of the basic oils. It's not like a fancy oil. It's, you know, inexpensive and like at your fingertips. Another one of my favorite essential oils is wild orange. So the first thing I want you to imagine is that, you know, take a fruit of the orange and you're peeling back the layer, like, you know, the peel, and you have that spray that goes into the air. Well, because the essential oil of a citrus fruit is contained in the rind, as we're breaking the peel, it sprays into the air. And so, like, imagine the last time that you peeled a piece of fruit, right? Like, you're just immediately happy. Like, you can't help it. Well, I'm a little bit of a science geek, and so there's a reason why you immediately feel happy. It's because citrus oils are very high in a constituent called limonene. And limonene helps your body produce dopamine, which is your happy drug. And so within seconds, right, 22 seconds, they find the chemistry in your brain. So within 22 seconds, you're immediately experiencing that dopamine rush. And so wild orange is a mood uplifter. It is invigorating, and it helps kind of like jumpstart you. And sometimes we just need some motivation and help us kind of persevere to the end. I also love, you know, wild orange. When I am happier, I tend to get more work done, right? Like, I see life through the eyes of abundance rather than of like all the complaining. You know, that complaining and focusing all the negative stuff is sometimes a distraction for us. Remember when we talked about limiting distractions, this is a good way to help us be happy, you know, kind of get motivated to do the work. And it's also, you know, it's like liquid sunshine, right? And so I don't know, like, especially with, you know, the rain and the clouds that have been around all week, we feel that in our mood. And so if you can have a little bit of sunshine pop out of a bottle, it'll help you be more creative. And so, you know, I just love all of the citrus oils. So whether it's wild orange or grapefruit or lemon or lime or tangerine, like, you pick the one that you like. The question is, would peppermint tea achieve the same results? Okay, so yes, it would, but you'd have to have a really high concentration. So an essential oil is distilled from the plant. So it takes about, let's say, 40 lemons to make a single bottle of lemon essential oil. It takes 30 pounds of lavender to make a single bottle of lavender. Right? So we have a highly concentrated form of the plant. And so a single drop of peppermint is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea, right? So that's why we have this immediate concentrated response in our body. Okay, my next oil is one that's a little bit off the beaten track, but it is worthy of mention here. So Pedigree is actually part of the, you know, sometimes we get different oils from different parts of the plant. And so the bitter orange comes from the fruit. The Pedigree comes from the stem of the plant. So two separate oils, very, very different aromas, very different chemistry. One of the things that Pedigree is really good for is that there's an enzyme, right? I won't go into the details, but there's an enzyme that actually lowers cognitive function. And this happens when you release like your stress hormones, like, you know, cortisol or epinephrine or adrenaline. If you release these, this enzyme starts to lower cognitive function. So I don't know if you've associated like that when you're highly stressed, you can't think so clearly. And so a lot of times in a stressful moment, you kind of have to be like, okay, I just need a minute, right? Did that ever happen to you? Like, I just need a minute to think, right? It's because of the chemistry that's happening in the brain when we're responding to, these stressful situations. And in the immediacy, it's not so bad, but when we have chronic stress, now we have this enzyme around all the time, and it's constantly, kind of reducing our cognitive function. One of the other things that Pedigree is great for is that, so we have neurons, right? That's part of our brain, how we work, right? And so it reduces the excitability that causes a lack of focus and some mental agitation. So think of like after dinner, right? You have a family gathering, and the little kids had way too much dessert, right? Too much sugar, and they're just spinning around all over the place, right? Right? Sometimes our neurons get like overexcited, and we have to calm them down. And that helps you think more clearly. And so Pedigree is really good at calming down. It can promote restful sleep. It's one of the oils that I use when I want to get a good night's sleep, right? And when we get a good night's sleep, the next day, we have better focus. One of the things I love about essential oils is that while you're using it for one purpose, like I want it to help improve my cognitive function, I'm actually going to get some side benefits, right? It's an antioxidant, and so it's going to actually help improve the function of my immune system, which right about now, that's something that I want. I truly want my immune system to get better. My next, that I'll share, so I put a lot of essential oils in combination into the diffuser. And these are, two of my favorites, right? They're just amazing aromas. Diffusers are, very inexpensive. You could buy them on Amazon, or you could buy them in some of the stores, and, get some oils and you can mix your own. These happen to be my favorite. We'll talk a little bit about why I love them, right? So, there's so many different oils, and, with so many different flavors, I invite you to experiment. Find what works best for you. One aroma you may love, and the person next to you be like, oh my God, I can't stand that aroma. So it's very personal to you, right? We all have smell memories, and, it's important to find one that you find pleasing. And there's such similarity in their benefits and in the chemistry sometimes that you just have to find the one that you really enjoy. So one of my favorites is basil, right? It is great for the adrenal system, right? Your adrenal system is how you create energy. And if the cell is tired, I'm not talking about energy globally, even though it does create global energy for you to get through your day. We're talking about cellular energy. And if your cell feels overwhelmed with the task, it's not going to function. And so we need to help build energy into our cells. And basil supports the adrenal system, that's its main job, is to help create energy for you. I also love eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is kind of a declogger. And so sometimes my lack of focus is about I'm stuck. Maybe we have mental chatter about a particular thing or an emotional situation or a family thing that's going on that I just can't stop thinking about. And so sometimes eucalyptus is a great oil just to kind of clear away all that fog. There's a whole bunch more, it's really about let's just find the one that works for you to help you stay focused during your day. And, I've been doing this for 10 years. My son, who, was in the ICU more than 25 times in the first 17 years of his life. In the 10 years that we've been using essential oils aggressively with therapeutic outcomes, he's only been in the hospital once. And it's a pretty amazing way that we've changed our lives. Now, he's still handicapped, he still gets sick, but we have amazing tools at our fingertips. And I love to help people. Your daily routine is what creates the life that you're experiencing today. So what will you do each and every day to help support having more focus, more energy, more clarity every day. We will walk towards that goal or away from it with each choice we make. And so I'm here to help you make better choices. And if you want to get a couple of samples, I was talking to Portia in the mental hygiene office about offering you guys some free samples. You know, like I want you to have oils at your fingertips so that you have a choice and you can try them and see if they work for you like they work for me. And so in the chat, let me just, I will put my contact information, and there's a link that you can copy and paste. It's on the screen here, but I also just put it in the chat. If you want more information, or maybe you want to get a couple of free samples of some of the things we talked about, I'd be happy to mail them to you. I am here to support all the work that you do for the people on the front lines. We actually just did about 100 goodie bags for the doctors and nurses at Stony Brook Hospital. And so I'm affiliated with an amazing group of other wellness advocates and a company called doTERRA, who is like donating millions of dollars to support the people on the front lines, of which that's you. And so I really want to put essential oils at your fingertips in your home if you're open to that. And so I invite you to give it a try. You can simply connect with me. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. You could send me an email. And, you know, if you want to, you know, I think that they're going to send you, I have a whole file with different resources. We're recording this presentation today so that if you wanted to go back and re-listen to some of the things we talked about, it'll also have the other ones that we talked about. We did stress on Wednesday. Yesterday we did sleep. Today we're doing focus. Next week we're doing immune boosting tips and some maybe emotional healing. And so, you know, you can join us for those classes, or you can just simply connect with me and I'll get you the information. So I will stop my share and open the call for questions and comments.